Hi friends, it's Lauren Taylor. Thanks for joining me in my craft room today. I'm grateful to have you here for our latest Oh So Inspired Collaboration Team video hop. This is where I get together with some of my crafty friends and we take the same piece of inspiration and create something with it that's, different and more our style. And this month we are featuring this beautiful card. This is by Sherry Gilson, Paper Crafties Creations, and she created this really pretty kind of white on white with pops of teal, red, and black. And I'm going to use those colors and the white on white as my inspiration for this month's project. If you're new to these Oh So Inspired collaboration hops, you can find the playlist with all of our crafty friends down below in my description box. It's great because you could just go to the playlist, hit play all, and see everybody's take on this month's inspiration. So I hope that you hop along and see all the different ways that we've used this card. I'm so excited to see how everyone interprets this month's inspiration piece. But let's jump into what I am doing here. I'm getting ready to do some ink blending and I'm going to be using products from Spellbinders today. I'm starting with the Uncharted Waters stencil that was released this month, and I'm going to be using Distress Oxides to create a teal ocean. So I'm starting with Salvaged Patina, and I'm using this large open water stencil. You can see there's details for rocks or islands, depending on your perspective and how big you want your water to be. But I am just going to focus on the two stencils that have the water details. So I have my full ocean here. Again, I colored it in with Salvage Patina. And I'm going through each of the layers. As you can see, they make a beautiful, like kind of ocean water scene. You have stencils for clouds, stencils for an island out in the distance, but I just want these two stencils that create my ocean. So for the second color, I'm going to bring in Peacock feathers and I'm just ink blending those water details right onto my first layer. And it's pretty easy just to do a really pretty tone on tone look. I also brought out Uncharted Mariner, but I don't end up using it. I was going to try to incorporate a third color in some way, but there just wasn't another stencil to where that detail could be added. I thought maybe creating kind of that island off in the distance, but I really just liked the water how it was. So we're just going to stick with these two colors and not use the third Uncharted Mariner. Plus, I think it really matches the teal colors of the original card best. So now I am taking the rock pieces to make sure that I can kind of cover that one area of the stencil that created the rocks or the island. I know I am going to trim it down a bit, so I think just as is, it's looking pretty good so far. So I'll go ahead and put away my stenciling items. I'm going to glue the two layers of my rocks, my rocky islands together. And this is from the Guiding Light Etched die set from Spellbinders. And I die cut a lot out of white because again, I really liked the white on white look of the card inspiration. So I have my white sky and my white island. And even my lighthouse is predominantly white, and that's where I'm going to add the pops of red and black. So the two rocky pieces or islands or whatever you want to make them on your project. They layer together rocks to give details. There's really pretty kind of pressed or embossed details onto the second layer that just give the islands or rocks a lot of texture. So I'm just gluing those two together. So I have this kind of long flat one and then the more tall robust rock. How do you describe rocky islands? I don't know. So my paper is 5 by 4.5. So I'm going to rely on the 5 for the height of my panel, and that will be half an inch smaller than an A2 size. So I'm going to cut off enough to be half an inch on the other side as well from 4.25. So my panel is now 5 by 3 3/4. And I cut off mostly on the side where I have that white stenciled detail left for my island that I'm going to put my lighthouse on. I need to change out my blade, so you saw me cutting off the little paper wispies that were left behind. I just need to change my blade. That's all that is. So now I'm going to play with the two pieces to create my little scene here. I want them to go off the paper so it feels like we're just getting a little snapshot of a larger scene here. And I really like how the layout is coming together and my two pieces cover that white stencil detail. And it looks like it fits because of that water, that second layer of like ripples in the water. It's going to go nicely around my die cut pieces. Now I'm going to put together the lighthouse. This is a video hop, so I don't want to keep you here too long because there's lots to see today. So I'm just going to kind of skip through a lot of my gluing the lighthouse together. If you have any questions or if you want to see another video from me using these products, just let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. So I've put on the red details of my lighthouse, and then the pops of black are just kind of like the railings on the lighthouse, as well as the windows and the door. I'm just using tweezers and liquid glue to get all of these glued together. Now, when it comes to the windows and the doors, I find it easier to add the glue to the etched details because these dies give you an exact location of where to place these smaller dies due to the really nice etching in the dies. It's a little impression, a little embossing to show where they go. And I added the glue onto the lighthouse and then used my wax tip tool picker to pick up those pieces of paper and glue them onto or adhere them to the lighthouse where the glue is. So I'm going to use liquid glue to adhere my larger rock, which will be further off in the background. So I am gluing that down, again, coming off the paper to the left a bit because I want my scene to feel like it extends past this panel. And then for the second rock or the rock that's closer to the card receiver and my lighthouse are going to be popped up with foam circles. These are 2mm foam circles from scrapbook.com. I think it was a freebie not too long ago with orders. So I have these nice little foam circles to use and I'm just adding them where they will attach to the card panel. So I added 3. I need to pick it up so I can make sure I get my rock angled so I don't have any white showing between the 2 layers and that it fits nicely within that ripple look of my stenciling. I'm going to trim off the excess of these rock pieces to have it be flush with the side of my panel. Now for my lighthouse, I'm going to go ahead and use the same thickness foam. So I'm going to add foam circles behind my lighthouse. I will cut a little piece of the extra. I never let foam go to waste. As you can see, I do cut and use the negative pieces of my foam adhesive. And I'm going to add a little tiny piece to the very tip top of my lighthouse. I wasn't going to worry about it, but I was worried that it could get snagged on an envelope. So I just thought having that stability there would be good. So I've peeled off all the release paper from the foam and I'm going to go ahead and attach my lighthouse, having it overlap with the island. So it looks like it's sitting right there on the corner, being a nice guiding light. I thought it'd be really cool to turn this into an interactive card with a easy light, but we're going to keep it clean and simple, which is sometimes hard for me to do. I'm actually really happy with how this card is coming along. I really love the white on white with pops of color. Now, there is a coordinating stamp set for this collection, but I don't have it. So I went through my stash to try to find something that I thought would kind of match, and I found my What Are You Up To stamp set. This is the clear stamp of the month from June 2023 from Spellbinders, and I really loved the All Across the Ocean for You sentiment. So I'm going to stamp that in black just like the original inspiration piece. So I tried to stamp it in the white to give the card a centered feel since all of my, die cuts are to the left of the panel. And I'm getting an A2 card base. I really like top folding card bases, so that's what I'm using today. And I'm going to adhere this panel right onto my card base. So I'm going to get my Scotch tape runner and I will apply adhesive on the back of this panel and glue it to the center of my card base. Once that's in place, I have a few of the new Spellbinders gems. This is the color Graphite. The original card has a lot of really pretty red gems, so I wanted to bring in gems myself, but I have these graphite ones instead, but I think they still match really nicely because of the pop of black on the card. So I'm going to add a few of those across the card just to draw the card receiver's eyes at a diagonal. Here's a close-up look of how my card turned out. I hope you had fun with me today and that you check out the rest of the hop. Again, that playlist is down below in my description box, and I hope you hop along and see all of the amazing creations with the same inspiration piece. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll click like, and if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe and come back. As always, you can find everything I use down below in the description box. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye!